Let's start not with a word, but with a feeling. You know the one. That creeping, unsettling sense deep in your gut that something is just off. Something's wrong, but you can't for the life of you put your finger on what it is. Well, today we're going to give it a name. Gaslighting. And we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works and what it does to the very core of who you are.
So let me ask you this. Do you find yourself living in a state of constant self-doubt? Questioning your own memory about things, both big and small? That feeling of, wait, did that actually happen like that? I was so sure, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It's this quiet, exhausting voice that can follow you everywhere.
Or how about this one? Do you say I'm sorry all the time? And I don't mean for things you've actually done wrong. I mean apologizing for how you feel, for having an opinion, for just taking up space. It's almost like you've been taught to believe that anytime there's a problem, it must somehow be your fault.
And then there's the big one. Has anyone ever made you feel like your totally valid emotions are somehow an overreaction? Have you heard the phrase, "you're just too sensitive," so many times that you've actually started to believe it's true? That you've started to swallow your own feelings just to keep the peace?
If those questions felt a little too real, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. Those feelings, the confusion, the constant doubt, that feeling of being less than, they're not just random. They are the textbook symptoms of a very specific, very calculated form of manipulation. So let's go from that gut feeling to a real definition.
So, here it is. Gaslighting. This isn't just about someone disagreeing with you. It's a whole different ballgame. It is an insidious, sneaky, and methodical pattern of psychological control. And that word right there, deliberately, that's the key. The entire goal of the gaslighter is to slowly, systematically chip away at your sense of reality until you just don't trust yourself anymore. You're forced to rely on their version of the world. It is, quite literally, a slow erosion of your own mind.
And you know, the origin of the term is pretty wild. It actually comes from an old play, and later a movie from way back in the day called Gaslight. In the story, a husband tries to convince his wife she's going insane. He does these tiny things like secretly dimming the gas-powered lights in their house, and every time she points it out, he tells her she's just imagining things. It's the perfect, chilling metaphor for what this abuse really is, making someone believe their own eyes and ears are lying to them.
So, how does a gaslighter actually pull this off? Well, it's not just one thing they do. It's a whole series of calculated tactics that they use over and over again. So let's do this. Let's open up the abuser's playbook and look at the key moves they use to confuse and control people. Because honestly, just being able to recognize these tactics is the first step to taking their power away.
The absolute bedrock of all gaslighting is lying. But listen, we're not talking about your average everyday lies. Gaslighters are often pathological liars. They will say something with a straight face, with complete conviction that you know is false. And here's the crazy part. They will never back down. You could show them undeniable black and white proof, a text message, a photo, a video, and they'll still look you in the eye and say, that never happened, or you're just making that up. Their certainty is designed to make you question your own sanity.
The next move in their playbook is minimizing. They take your thoughts, your concerns, your feelings, and they make them seem small and insignificant. When you try to tell them they've hurt you, they don't just disagree. They tell you that your emotional reaction is the real problem. They basically teach you that your feelings are invalid, illogical, or just plain wrong. It's how they dismantle your emotional compass.
And this is what it sounds like in the wild. Do any of these sound familiar? You're overreacting. I was just joking. Can't you take a joke? Why are you so sensitive all the time? These aren't just phrases. They are weapons. And they are specifically designed to shut down the conversation and make you feel like the unstable one.
Blame shifting. This one is a masterclass in manipulation. No matter what the issue is, they're experts at twisting the conversation around until somehow you're the one who ends up at fault. If they yell at you, it's because you push their buttons. If they get caught in a lie, it's because you're so suspicious you forced them to. You walk into a conversation wanting to talk about their behavior, and you walk out apologizing for your own. It's crazy-making.
And finally, there's discrediting. This is where the gaslighter goes public with their campaign. They start telling your friends, your family, maybe even your coworkers that you seem unstable or that you're losing it. They'll often frame it as concern, saying things like, I'm really worried about them. But the goal is pure poison, to isolate you, to poison the well so that if you ever try to reach out for help, people are already primed not to believe you.
Now, when you see these tactics laid out, you can start to understand how devastatingly effective they are.
The damage they cause isn't just a surface wound, it goes deep. We really have to talk about the true psychological cost, the hidden scars this kind of manipulation leaves behind. And hey, before we dive into this next part, if you're finding this explainer helpful and want to see more content that breaks down complex topics, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out.
So, this is the fallout. It is a fundamental breakdown of a person's inner world. Anxiety becomes this constant background noise because your reality feels so shaky. Your self-esteem is just shattered because you've been conditioned to believe your own thoughts are worthless. You might find it impossible to make even simple decisions, what to eat for lunch, what to wear, because the very tool you use to make choices, your own judgment, has been systematically broken down. And the feeling of isolation is just profound. How can you connect with anyone else when you feel disconnected from yourself? And that brings us to the absolute core of the damage. The ultimate goal of gaslighting, whether it's conscious or not, is to completely destroy your trust in yourself. It's about severing that connection you have to your own intuition, your own gut feelings. And when you can't trust your own mind, you become totally dependent on your abuser. The scars from that can last for years, making it incredibly hard to trust anyone ever again, especially yourself.
But as dark as all of that sounds, I need to be crystal clear about something. There is a way back. You are not broken beyond repair. Your perception was targeted, yes, but it can be reclaimed. So this final part we're going to talk about is the most important one. It's all about how you fight back, how you ground yourself in reality, and how you find your way out of that thick, confusing fog. So what can you actually do? Here are 4 concrete, actionable steps. First, gain distance. You can't see the picture clearly when you're stuck inside the frame. That might mean physical distance or just emotional distance, but you need that space to think. Second, save evidence. This is your anchor to reality. Keep a private journal, save screenshots of texts. This isn't for arguing with them, it's for you. It's to remind yourself what is real when you start to doubt everything. Third, set boundaries. This is about taking your power back. A simple, I'm not going to have this conversation while you're dismissing my feelings, is incredibly powerful. And fourth, maybe the most important step of all, get an outside perspective. Talk to a trusted friend, a family member, a therapist. Just hearing one person say, no, you're not crazy, and that's not okay, can be the lifeline that pulls you back to solid ground.
And please, if you take nothing else away from this, hold on to this truth right here. You are not responsible for their choice to manipulate and abuse you. Nothing you did, nothing you said, ever justifies it. You didn't cause it, and you can't cure it. Their behavior is their choice, and it's their responsibility. Your only responsibility is to protect yourself and your own well-being.
I want to end with this powerful idea. There's this huge misconception that people who are victims of gaslighting are somehow weak or naive. It is the exact opposite. Gaslighting actually works best on people who are empathetic, who are conscientious, who are willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt. It literally targets your greatest strengths. So remember, it doesn't break the weak, it disorients the strong. If you've been through this, getting through it and healing is not a sign that you were ever weak. It is the ultimate proof of just how incredibly strong you've always been.